Hi everyone, I'm back. Today's video is a little bit different, but we're gonna talk about what anxiety actually feels like for me. But before I actually get into the subject, I want to tell you guys, um, we're upping the production value. So instead of playing Minecraft and recording and like talking at the same time, I'm pre-recording the video and then talking over it, kind of like a podcast, but more like a video afterwards. So there's still going to be Minecraft gameplay, as you can see, but I'm not distracted every time I see something, and I can just actually get to the point of my videos faster, um, and like maybe go more in depth than what I really wanted to do. Before I thought I was kind of limited by it. So here goes. Anyways, um, yeah. So most people, I think people believe that anxiety is just like being worried. But at first, there's a big difference to do before understanding anxieties. There's a big difference between stress and anxiety. From what I understand, stress is just one instance of being overly thinking about something in particular. So, say you can be stressed about an exam, you can be stressed about going to work in the morning. But when it becomes anxiety is when that thing is repetitive and it starts having an impact on how you live your life, right? So, say if one exam is fine, but if I stress about every single exam, whereas I can't stop studying until I've not slept the entire night. That's where it becomes anxiety. That's where it becomes where it has an impact on your life. And yeah, so in reality, anxiety is way more like physical than people expect because there's a lot of physical symptoms to anxiety. Um, and for me personally, it really feels like I'm sick. It almost feels like I have the flu every single time I start having anxiety symptoms or where I start, panicking because I have panic attacks at the same time, which are slightly different as well. But I'll tell you more about it. So yeah, when I start, having anxiety, it often feels like I have the flu, like I just said. It's like heavy. I'm weak. I feel drained. I have nausea where I feel like I really need to puke. Like the whole time it's happened before, where the anxiety was just so bad that I actually genuinely puked from the anxiety. Um, yeah, so it's a little more physical for me than it might be for some other people. I also have heart palpitations, so basically it's like your heart beating super fast, and you can feel it in your chest, like really going at it. Um, it's kind of worrying the first times because you feel like you're having a heart attack, but you're like, well, my first one was like I think I was 14, so I'm clearly not having a panic attack. I mean a heart attack at 14, but it did feel like it at first. Now I understand that it's not a heart attack, and I'm not going to die in the next few seconds. Um, but yeah, sometimes you get dizziness from struggling to breathe. So yeah, you have difficulty breathing most of the time. Kind of like I forgot what the term is, but where you breathe in too much, and you kind of panic, you kind of stress over it. Um, but it's kind of like your breathing instantly goes into manual mode, and you kind of have to figure out how to breathe again. Um, and then the dizziness comes after struggling to breathe a little bit. Your world starts to spin, and it's a little difficult. And then this thing is, it might just be more me, but I got that why I said I was like flu-like symptoms is also because I got to go to the bathroom very often when I'm stressed and when I have anxiety. It's like nervous poops and stomach aches that won't stop. So it goes out both ends, you know. But yeah, my anxiety feels a little bit more physical to than most others, I guess. Well, there's also like, the emotional aspect of the mental aspect. That's, I'm gonna get into it as well, but honestly, to me, the most draining part is the physical aspect, because I don't like being sick, right? I'm not like scared of puking like some people, but I don't enjoy it like most people. And feeling the being flushed, and just the overall feeling of everything in it makes it very difficult for me to be comfortable. And so those physical symptoms, you know often part, it also adds on to the emotional aspect of it, because like it's your body's doing things that it shouldn't be doing at that point. And just like the panic of panicking, you know um you feel your body start to become sick for no reason, and then you start being worried about being sick, and then you start noticing your physical symptoms more, and then you panic even more, and then it starts going at it, and it's worse and worse and worse and worse. um, and then the mental symptoms, which are definitely very different, I would say. Well, personally, I my brain likes to go on nonstop about everything that's possible, and every option, or everything that's possible, everything that could happen will happen in my brain. And I'm trying to think out every scenario possible, and trying to I like being in control, as you can see. I like being in control of what happens around me, and during a panic attack, or just in general, like stressful moments. You don't really control these things. um so it adds on to sometimes, the thoughts that go into your head are often like, how well, honestly, most of the time, it's gonna be weird, but my thoughts are often like, well, it's because I've been dealing with it a lot lately, and it's more of like, how did I lose control here? um you should have done something different. This is what you should have done. I'm kind of like thinking in third person at that point, because I don't feel like I'm in my body anymore. And like I start doubting everything that I did, and it goes on this like huge roller coaster of trying to revisit every single thing that happened during the day that might have caused this specific moment. But a lot of the times there's no like real single thing that started this entire uh panic attack, or this like anxiety at this very moment. And yeah, so a lot of the times it's weird, because your body's like reacting as if there was a real physical threat, when there's definitely nothing that's gonna hurt me in my house, except maybe Henry. He might bite me, but he's a little guy, so he doesn't hurt very much. But nothing is actually wrong, so it's very disorienting to especially for me. I'm gonna go on a little tangent here. I used to be a 911 dispatcher, and stress or like things going on and being out of control. I'm very used to it, and I perform very well under pressure. These things just like it came to me naturally. But when when I'm having like these moments where there's a lot of anxiety going on, or I'm gonna say panic attacks again. Um, there's like it's from what I understand, it's purely like chemical in my head. Like my body's producing too much of like the stress hormones, and coupled with maybe a bad feeling or a bad emotion at the moment, and it just starts going at it in my head, and I can't seem to control my thoughts at these very moments. So it's very difficult for me personally, because I I'm gonna say ego, but it's more pride of I know I can be in control and I know I can perform well under these circumstances, but I can't see the enemy. You know what I mean? Like I can't see what's going on. I can't like pinpoint, where the thing that's hurting me is, because it's all in my head, and my head goes like 100 miles an hour, and it's really difficult for me to actually just know who or what I'm fighting. Because if I did know, I would be a little better. But it's quite difficult. Um, and now that goes on to another point of mine, which is I I'm embarrassed about it very much. I feel like I'm not ashamed, but I'm close to feeling ashamed. Cause well, I'll be honest. First, I'm a man. We it's hard for me or us to share our emotions. I've been doing a lot better lately, especially on the YouTube channel. I've been sharing a lot, and I'm trying to do better um, on that front. But I still feel a little bit of embarrassment around feeling out of control, and knowing how how some if you broke your arm, you would see physically that this person is hurting, right? Like when someone that has a broken leg walks around in crutches, you understand, hey, that guy broke his leg. Let's give him our seat on the subway, right? I don't need your seat on the subway. I'm not saying that I whatever. Um, but since it's all in my head, there's no like physical aspect to it. So how like how is it supposed to I it's difficult to explain, but I think you understand my point of trying to say that physical ailments are, they're more valued in society, as in like you can see that they're hurting physically, so therefore it's like clear that they were hurt. But when it's in my head, it's easy to be dismissed because it's in my head and it's not physical and people can't see, so there's like no proof of it, you know? Um so I'm embarrassed speaking about it to others, but I'm also embarrassed in myself when I get these moments of anxiety where I'm like, what's really going on, Um there's also, the part where you're so exhausted afterwards, cuz there's the physical aspect, which, has a toll on you, but there's also all the mental aspect of your brain just going 100 miles an hour, running through every scenario, feeling bad about yourself, being out of control, being, you know, how difficult those moments are. Um, you really feel like you ran a marathon. I've never run a marathon, so I can't say that it feels like you ran a marathon, but you get what I mean. I'm absolutely exhausted afterwards, and sometimes it's like you can be like emotionally tired, you can be physically tired, you can be like just like mentally tired in general, right? Sometimes it's like you're exhausted, but you also can't go to sleep because it's like your body isn't ready to go to sleep. And then sometimes it's the other way around where your body wants to go to sleep, but your brain's like, oh, I can't be asked. I don't know if this makes sense. Hold on, water break. But yeah, it's just, it's difficult. I had this moment Saturday actually, so 2 days ago. This is supposed to be posted on Monday, so if it's not posted on Monday, something's wrong. um, but Saturday I had this moment where I felt like basically I'll walk you through the whole thing, right? So me and my family order some Indian food, really good. Um, I'm eating butter chicken. It's amazing. But then I eat a little too much, right? Because it's too good, and I'm a little, you know, it's so good. How do you want to stop? And then I start realizing that I'm too full, so my stomach starts to hurt, and then I start panicking because I'm like, oh, this is similar to anxiety symptoms. So okay, I'm having anxiety, but then I'm just really like my stomach's just hurting at that point, right? But then I start thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, I start having nausea and feeling like I need to puke, and then bang, everything starts to just like, I start feeling my heart going like beating out of my chest. I I can feel like I'm not gonna say like an impending sense of doom because that feels like very dramatic, but I can feel like something's so terribly wrong inside of me at this very moment. So then I start running downstairs to go to the bathroom, right? To like sit next to the toilet bowl to make sure that I don't puke on the ground. So then I sit there and then I start, I'm not going to go too much into details, but I start gagging and shit. And I feel bad. I ended up not even puking, but for like the next like 3 or 4 hours, I'm in such discomfort from all of my physical symptoms that I can't just go lay down and go to sleep. It was dinner time at that point, and when I got to bed, it was like 1:30 a.m. And now this is something a little different, but I do have like some medication that's supposed to help me go to sleep. So you add that into the fact and some other new medication that I was starting at the time, and it's just a fuck fest of terrible feelings and not feeling good and struggling to feel comfortable um, in really like random and simple times, where I was having a good time, I was eating my butter chicken, chilling, and out of a sudden it just ruins your night, and then turns out it ruins your day after as well because you still feel sick and you still feel bad and you're still exhausted, so you spend the day being careful, but then you can't control everything that's going on during that day. So yeah, it's it's not fun, but whatever. Anyways, here's the closer, the my outro. I wanna let you guys know if this sounds familiar, or if something that I said just connects with you. I get you so much. I know I'm not in your shoes, I'm not in your body, but we understand each other. And I want you to know our bodies aren't broken. It's chemicals in our head, it's hormones, it's to some extent, I'm not going to say it's normal, but it's, we have to adapt, and that's the hard part. And I say that's the hard part when I'm definitely not adapted and I'm definitely not having a good time. But I'm trying to motivate myself too here. Uh, we'll we'll get there. Hopefully, yeah. I say hopefully, not even believing in myself. Whatever. We got this. Um, anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this new technique to record the videos. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night, and sleep tight, guys. Bye.